Hi everyone, I'll just start right now. My name is Olivier. I work for Trifacta. I'm the EMEA Solutions Lead. I've been working there for 3 years. And I'm based in London. And today I'm going to talk about Brexit. Absolutely not. Another good topic for today is actually, as our host said, cloud. So if you're in this room, if you're in this event, actually, you're probably already doing cloud, which is a good thing because you're not alone. Actually, about 90% of the companies out there, according to the survey, is thinking of implementing their cloud strategy right now. And that is a 2x increase from 2016, which is pretty good. It's indicating that the market is maturing. But then at the same time, it's not only one cloud strategy now. All the rage is about multi-cloud. So whether it's moving from on-prem to the cloud or hybrid models like public and private clouds, now you have to think of multi-cloud strategies. So a big driver of this is obviously cost saving. But the truth is, one of the biggest driver in my mind is actually the fact that data has gravity, which means that as businesses become more and more online, the data is produced online and has to be worked on online. And actually, the data, some of the data never comes and never lands on-prem. So there's no need to go through that step and move directly to the cloud. And a lot of the workers need actually to work directly in the cloud and to build their data pipelines there. So we see this move to modernizing the whole ecosystem. And this analyst in this quote here is talking about data ops in the cloud. And a big part of data ops is actually data preparation. So we recognize the need as a data preparation vendor to build all these pipelines and these data preparation pipelines in the cloud, natively in the clouds. So Trifacta is actually on all major cloud vendors. On AWS and Azure, we're on their marketplaces. On Google Cloud, we're actually one of their major components called data prep. And what I mean by native is actually native storage, native processing, native security. And that encompasses a lot of different components. So on AWS, we leverage natively S3 and Redshift, and execution engine is EMR. On Azure, we basically plug into Azure Data Lake storage and blob storage and use their execution engine for HD Insight. And for Google Cloud, we would leverage BigQuery and Google Cloud Storage, and their execution engine is Dataflow. All of this is natively in the cloud. So obviously, we're not the gospel. Everyone has their own cloud journey, and all the customers are doing their own thing, obviously. In the next few minutes, I'm just going to tell about a few customer stories and their own journey in the cloud, their choices. Maybe it will help you make your own choices and help you in your decision to move to the cloud. So I'm going to start with Azure as a platform. So this use case was from a CPG company, a large beverage manufacturer, and all their workloads were based on-prem, mostly using lots of data coming from different suppliers in different formats, and the data was on SQL Server, on SAP, and Oracle databases, all on-prem. And most of their data preparation was done leveraging Access, Microsoft Access, and there were some bottlenecks around this in terms of the scale and volume of data, but also the people interacting with these databases. Not everyone had the skill set to access. So what the customer did, and this is the architecture behind this, moving to the cloud, all their different pipelines and data sets. They're leveraging SAP and Oracle and SQL Server in the cloud. Some of their data was put into blob storage here. And the execution engine where Trifacta was put was on HD Insight. The data was outputted back onto blob storage, and then most of the reports were built in Tableau. All of this was natively on the Azure platform using Azure Active Directory for role-based access control. In the future, this company is thinking to moving to Databricks, which is one other execution engine that we leverage for the different pipelines. And all of this could be governed with the orchestration tool from Microsoft Azure, which is Data Factory. You can see at the bottom. To basically ingest automatically these different data sets and bring these pipelines together on a schedule basis. So the benefits for this company was actually no more crashing of databases in Access on-prem. Also, it improved a lot the relationship between the business users and the IT users. The data was not only managed and controlled by Access database admins, but it was down to the business users directly. Another use case, this time on AWS. This company was a big marketing analytics platform, so API-based. And they're collecting a lot of data from different sources, whether it's paid advertising data or Amazon search reports or social media reports, aggregating all this. And they basically use this for brand marketing and aggregating this marketing performance data to optimize it for their own customers. And they're doing these processes pretty much manually, using a lot of Excel on-prem. And there were lots of bottlenecks in terms of IT and resources. So they decided to move on to AWS as a platform. Most of their data was put on S3. Trifacta was put on an EC2 instance, leveraging the Amazon EMR execution engine. And all of this was well integrated into their ecosystem, which is an application ecosystem. A lot of the applications you can see here were plugged in through API-based communications. And a lot of the gains and benefits they had in this use case was through the auto-scaling of the actual Amazon platform. So each team had their own pipelines, leveraging and building their own EMR clusters. They used really a lot of the auto-scaling features, and the benefits came from also using spot instances from Amazon. That allowed them to reduce about 20% of their AWS costs. And third use case is on Google Cloud Platform. So this is, again, a CPG company, traditionally brick and mortar, and moving a lot more online for doing e-commerce. Most of their finance reporting was still done on-prem, but they decided to move on their e-commerce data, which was natively online, basically, to the cloud. And for this, they used Google Cloud. And the driver was a lot of the users were asking for self-service. So the architecture that they decided to go with was so aggregating all the data on the left side, you can see here, so product information, e-commerce data, data from CMS, also data already on S3, social media data, aggregating all this using file uploads or cloud functions, and then putting that on Google Cloud Storage or BigQuery. And then the business users were using Google Cloud Data Prep, which is Trifacta, and leveraging the different cleaning and preparation pipelines to output that back onto BigQuery. And they plugged in Data Studio, which is the visualization tool from Google, and also building some models with CloudML. The good thing about this is that a lot of these were templatized, and they could push this to different regions which had specific requirements for their data. So they gained a lot of time and deployment. Through all these managed services, they didn't need to rebuild the whole thing again. And their business users were able to leverage that automatically. So now I've got a bit of time. I'm just going to show you that in action with a very quick demo of Trifacta. For those of you who haven't seen it. So this is some basic clickstream data that I've loaded up on Trifacta. Here you can see the UI looks a bit like Excel. And typically what a business analyst would do here is some preparation pipelines. There's some data quality indicators, such as here you can see I've got some timestamp in that column indicated by this clock icon. And then the red bar here tells me there's some data quality issues. So what I can do is look at pattern details and try to analyze and cluster the different patterns showing up for the date formats. So some of these could be in American time formats, European time formats, and they're all over the place. So you don't want to clean these manually. You need a step that indicates you the way to go about this. So now on the right, you can see we've had these bars pop up. We have 3 different groups. Data is in this format, and that's the biggest cluster, and then a smaller cluster has this format, which is just 1 digit for the hour, for example. And then the month might be in letters instead of digits. So what you want to get is your magic wand and tap the biggest cluster, and this gives you a suggestion to actually convert the data that you see here. So most of the clusters will be standardized to one output format. And you can see in real time the transformation in action very visually. So you can add this as one transformation. Similarly, I can scroll here to the URL. I can notice in my path there is some product IDs that I can notice just by highlighting this. I'm building a new column that's extracting the product ID, and now in this yellow column. And the pattern extraction is done automatically here. So just 2 quick simple steps. You can see they've been added to the right-hand side and they're kept in memory. Now I want to just augment my data sets and merge that with another. So I'm going to bring in some sales data, which is another data set that is on the platform. And I've got some suggestion of the join key here to actually merge the 2 data sets. I can go through different options. I won't go in the details here, but you can pick and select which columns you want to add. And now the 2 data sets will be merged when I add this to my recipe. So if I take a step back now to this view, I've gone from 2 data sets, 2 very simple data sets, a CSV file and a sales data, which might be in a database in the cloud or on-prem. And these little icons are now connected because I've built a workflow that merges them together. So now all I need to do is run my pipeline, and that could be on-prem or in the cloud. I would do that once, and then I'm able to schedule this and repeat this so that I don't have to do this over and over again. The good thing is that we've got this export flow functionality, which once you've built that, say in your development environment on-prem, you could leverage this pipeline and rebuild exactly the same thing, re-import this into your production environment in the cloud, or move that from one cloud to the other. Because essentially these steps are just metadata that you can reuse and bring into other platforms without rebuilding this again. So that was Trifacta, really in a nutshell. And in conclusion, I just want to move back to this. Just a quick plug, we did a webinar just 2 days ago, and we're redoing it again. I encourage you to, if you want to learn more about data preparation and how it is scalable in the cloud, how it will speed up the different adoptions. Here we're summing up the 6 different ways that it does accelerate the data preparation process. So you can register, and it's an EMEA, European-friendly time. That's it, and I'll stop here and take any questions if you have. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Oliver. Very nice demo.